chapter will serve as a stark wake-up call, linking the spiritual war to the physical war being waged on children's health through the food supply. Chapter 7. The Poison Seed, From Ketchup to Autism. The true horror of the war wasn't confined to digital cam rooms or hypnotic clicks. It was on the dinner table. It was a slow, systemic poison, insidious because it was hidden in the staple crops that fed the nation. This was the war for the very seed of the next generation. The statistics were screaming a biological catastrophe. The rate of children diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder, ASD, had reached a dizzying 1 in 31 in the United States. It wasn't a coincidence. It wasn't just better diagnosis. It was a crisis that tracked perfectly with the acceleration of a single corrosive element in the American diet. The poison wasn't subtle. It was agricultural. The corn trap. The key to the enemy's silent assault was GMO corn. Not the corn itself, but what it carried. The sheer pressure to feed a crowded planet, the necessity of meeting a projected need for a 4x increase in crop production by 2025, had turned agriculture into an assembly line for neurotoxins. To meet that demand, fields were saturated with chemicals. The children, in their critical developmental stages, were consuming these toxins daily. The pathway was simple. Corn syrup, a ubiquitous ingredient derived from chemically treated GMO corn. Ketchup, the favorite condiment of children across America, often packed with high-fructose corn syrup, the delivery vehicle for the poison. Every squeeze of a red plastic bottle, every bite of a meal sweetened with corn syrup, was an injection of pesticide into a developing brain. The toxin, meant to kill the bugs eating the crops, was silently disabling the children eating the food. The damage was neurological, profound, and generational. The coven, Confucioso, and their dark digital magic were all symptoms of a deeper rot, but this, the poison seed, was the weapon that would ensure the supply of damaged, vulnerable souls for decades to come. The antidote, subsidies for health. The solution could not be solely spiritual. It had to be a ground-level fight for the food supply. The answer lay in turning the government's own machinery against the corporations profiting from the poison. The hero here would be the voice calling for a fundamental shift. You want to get the poison out of their food? You stop subsidizing the poison in the first place. The plan was simple, economic, and devastatingly effective. Lobby for the USDA to mandate subsidies for non-toxic alternatives. Specifically, non-GMO seed corn, non-GMO seed soy, ancient grains. By making the healthy, non-GMO seed the economically viable choice, the poison seed would become obsolete. The projected outcome was revolutionary, a dramatic reduction in the spike in autism rates as the developing brains of the next generation were finally protected. The fight against Confucioso was about disarming the hypnosis. The fight against the coven was about reclaiming stolen power. But the fight for the food was about reclaiming the future, the very ability of the children to grow up whole, healthy, and untouched by the poison of greed. The victory wouldn't be won with a single strike, but by replacing every poisoned kernel with a healthy seed. It was time to switch the funding and save the children,